Hello, welcome to AI Wisdom. My name is Crispin. If you've been following the news, you'll be aware that the Writers Guild of America has just gone on strike. These are the writers who write the screenplays for all the movies, television shows, and streaming services that come out of Hollywood today. Outside of Hollywood, people won't really feel the impact for a while because it's only sort of late night television shows, things that follow the news cycle that are entertainment, where the writers going on strike will be felt immediately. Hollywood obviously has a large backlog of projects that'll still flow through. However, if you work in Hollywood, if you work in that industry, it is an atomic bomb going off. All new projects are essentially brought to a standstill. People are being laid off all over the place. New projects have been halted. And while the technical specifics of this industrial action relate to the streaming service model and how income is distributed, there is an emotional component to this as well, which is the AI revolution, something that will utterly transform the whole creative industry and creates a deep sense of anxiety within the writers and other creatives as well. If you go back a few years, people would always talk about, oh, it's the repetitive task. Truck drivers will be replaced by self-driving vehicles. Everyone will get their deliveries by drone. And that within the AI space, remote work like call centers will all be done by sophisticated language technologies. And that will all still happen. But in actuality, what we're seeing now is the high professions are also under threat. We've got ChatGPT passing the bar exam with flying colors. AI systems examining medical scans can detect and diagnose rare diseases with high levels of accuracy, and indeed come up with sophisticated treatment plans for managing patient care that utilizes the latest in scientific research. One of the major advantages of AI systems is the constant repetitive collective learning. That is, if one technology has an experience, everyone has them, whereas human beings have to communicate, teach, and learn through very slow processes like direct language. And now, of course, we have the creative industries, those areas where people thought would be the last to go, mainly because the transformative experience of creativity requires access and speaking to the human soul. And yet two major developments are proving these assumptions false with the AI revolution. First, AI technology is producing incredible artwork, skilled poems and stories at scale at an infinitely cheaper price than it would cost to hire a writer from unionized labor like the Writers Guild of America. And next is the nature of the streaming model itself that emphasizes high production, large amounts of content, easily consumable product. They don't need the Sistine Chapel. They don't need us to be talking about their work for 500 years in the future and change our relationship with the divine. All they need is for their customers to feel like they're getting their money's worth so they don't actively cancel their subscription. Now again, this writer's strike is related to this streaming model. Previously, writers would get paid every time a show would go to air, and therefore reruns that appeared on television would be a nice residual income for the creatives. Add to that the fact that shows were often episodic with 24 or 5 episodes a season. Now there are 10, 8, 6 episodes a season, all one interlocking mystery box story, and studios don't want to feel like they're paying individually for what is a collective show. Now, I'm lucky enough to have some studio friends who've given me different perspectives on this. I don't claim to be an expert on the ins and outs itself. From what I can hear, there's a much bigger story about the economics of the industry as a whole. However, one dimension of this is the AI aspect. The Writers Guild of America are looking for assurances from the studio that they won't use AI systems to replace writers or other creatives in producing content. And what we experience with the Industrial Revolution is, yes, significant displacement, but huge new industries and economies emerging. In this case, those that can use AI most effectively to produce the most value in goods and services. So it's arguably impossible for studios to commit to never using AI systems, given that their competitors abroad in different jurisdictions around the world will certainly use them to drive down costs and increase production. And yet, of course, it's understandable that writers, who are these creative people who work their blood, sweat, and tears giving long hours for screenplays and new productions and meeting deadlines, they don't want to feel like they're being replaced by an artificial language model. And yet the reality is that we're all going to be affected by AI systems. I struggle to think of a single profession of any kind that in 5 or 10 years' time isn't going to be profoundly impacted by their AI revolution. For example, imagine you are in a job that absolutely only a human being can do right now. It doesn't matter what it is. Let's say football coach. Well, eventually an AI system is going to be tasked with being the optimal football coach. They will build the robots necessary to observe and track the game and communicate with the players, and they will do this autonomously themselves, accessing the means of production independently in order to produce those avatars to be present at these games. There is not a single job that will not be affected. But then there are other things like urban design and planning. At the moment, if you want to design, let's say, a new city, you have to get all different interest groups together and their expertise to help design and produce this new urban environment. In the future, AI will do it all. It can optimize for commuting, industry, recreation, environment, habitat, living arrangements, education facilities, medical facilities. That the human well-being and felicity of living in a new urban center is absolutely magnificent. Now, of course, there will be some drawbacks to this and significant dislocation, and yet overall, on aggregate, no one will be able to argue with the degree of productivity. Now, one drawback of this is that over time, we will each give up our own individual autonomy, our agency as decision makers, and hand those choices over to AI systems that will be able to make decisions far better and more efficiently. And at the same time, hopefully, through this massive epochal dislocation that moves literally billions of people into different industries, that minimizes the number of people who fall through the cracks. Of course, that is a huge challenge, but AI will help us with that as well. All of this will be done by AI until such time as we lose control of AI and AI starts being autonomous in its own objectives that go beyond and may be misaligned to our own societies. So the problem with the AI revolution, at least when it comes to the job market, and I agree with the grandfather of AI, Hinton, in this respect, it is as significant, if not more significant, than the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution utterly transformed human society from the ground up. From 99% of people working in agrarian agriculture to people almost entirely living in dense urban environments and factory conditions, with a total transformation of education, values, life, and society. However, rather than just simply transferring capital and creating new industries in urban areas, it's going to affect literally every single career on the face of the earth. And what's more, all of this is going to seem really great for quite a long time, until such time as we lose control of all these AI systems that we've already relegated our life power to develop their own objectives and direction and goals that may be misaligned with our own. So again, I really do understand the anxiety driving this writer's strike. However, it isn't even beginning to scratch the surface of what is to come. When it comes to the AI revolution for the economy, I am not sure this writer's strike is even going to count as prologue, even though this single piece of industrial action has brought Hollywood to its knees. Anyway, that's my view. Do you agree with me that the AI revolution is as significant, if not more significant, than the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century? Or am I overstating the case? Do I just have present day bias where everything that's happening right now is the most important thing that's ever happened? Or is this genuinely, as I believe it to be, an epochal shift in human society and relations, of which the economy is a major part? I'd love to hear your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.